Heya Cryptozens, it's 10 p.m. Pacific time. My name is Nikodemus, and welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. It's November 14th, 2022, and how did Monday treat you? It was kind of a rough day for me, to be honest with you, but we'll get through it, right? Together. So here we go. Who do you think is to blame for the apocalypse at FTX and Alameda Research? I mean, other than Sam Bankman-Fried and his cohorts, that is. Who do you blame? Do you think that it's fair to blame the users? Just a little bit? Binance CEO CZ seems to think so. He was speaking at a Twitter's AMA today, and it was there that he said crypto users need to bear some responsibility for their investment decisions and not to put all of the blame on others when things go pear-shaped. Now, he's been asked a question on whether Binance should reimburse people who were hurt in FTX's crash. He said, quote, "As a user, you also have responsibility. You can't just blame all of the responsibility to other people. When bad things happen, if you blame all of the responsibility, if it's always to other people, you will never be successful. You will always be looking at the most responsible person to yourself, which is yourself." So here's the thing about that line of questioning. A participant in the session had alleged that Binance had some responsibility for FTX. They said that Binance lent FTX credibility, and so they said that Binance surely profited from the funds that belong to users. Now, their logic was that Binance should give away any profits gained from selling FTT, FTT being the name of FTX's exchange token. So what they're referring to reaches clear back to December of 2019. That's when Binance first invested in FTX. Now, last July, Binance sold their stake in FTX for $2.1 billion worth of Binance's stablecoin and FTT. Now, Binance sat on those two fat bags of coins. That is until last week, when Binance signaled that they were going to exit their position in FTT over the course of the next few months. In fact, a large tranche was in fact sold, but they didn't sell all of it. FTX ran into a huge liquidity crunch, and Binance declined to bail them out in any way. So FTX filed for bankruptcy, and that stopped Binance's sale of FTT. As CZ tweeted today, quote, "Full disclosure, Binance never shorted FTT. We still have a bag as we stopped selling FTT after SBF called me. Very expensive call." And he points out that this is all publicly visible, both when the company entered and exited those trades. That's all available for public examination, although he acknowledges that he didn't exactly draw a lot of attention to it. He said, quote, "We did not hide it, and we did not disclose it." So from CZ's point of view, they sold only a small portion of their FTT. He said not only is Binance still sitting on all that coin, they took the same losses everyone else did, which kind of blows holes in the concept that Binance owes anybody any of that money. He said, quote, "We had $580 million worth of FTT. We sold a small portion of it. We still have a large bag. So I think we acted in very ethical ways." Now, all that aside, CZ did throw people a bone. He said Binance would try to help FTX users as much as they can. But he did indicate that he is not at all establishing precedent. He said he didn't want to, quote, "create a situation where anything that goes down in the industry, Binance has to pay for it." Which is kind of the direction that SBF was headed, right? Anyway, CZ did say that institutional investors do share some responsibility because they did indeed lend credibility to FTX. He said, quote, "The VC investors, including us, why did we invest in them? I think that accusation was actually somewhat accurate. All the VC investors that invested in FTX made a mistake, and many of them are very professional investors. Why do they not discover this problem? But make no mistake, not everyone agrees." Brad Sherman, U.S. Congressman, not a friend of crypto. He's saying that it's the billionaire crypto bros who are to blame. He said it's these billionaire crypto bros who are slowing down the adoption of crypto regulations. So in this statement released on the 13th, Sherman was talking about what happened to FTX when he said, and I hate to agree with him, but in this case he's kind of right. He said that this shows the need for regulators to take action. Now, I might question what those actions are, but something does need to happen to protect consumers. Sherman said, quote, "The sudden collapse this week of one of the largest cryptocurrency firms in the world has been a dramatic demonstration of both the inherent risks of digital assets and the critical weaknesses in the industry that has grown up around them." He continued, saying, "For years, I have advocated for Congress and federal regulators to take an aggressive approach in confronting the many threats to our society posed by cryptocurrencies." So he said that his plan is to work with Congress to look for options for federal legislation. And he said that he's hoping that this will happen without the financial influence from members of the crypto industry. He said, quote, "To date, efforts by billionaire crypto bros to deter meaningful legislation by flooding Washington with millions of dollars in campaign contributions and lobbying spending have been effective." Now, on the other hand, we have Kevin O'Leary. Now, he was being interviewed by CNBC when he said rather than trying to regulate everything everywhere all at once, U.S. regulators need to start with one thing. His suggestion was the Stablecoin Transparency Act. Now, across the pond, they're trying to establish what happened and who's at fault. And so it came to pass that representatives from Binance, Ripple, and Galaxy Digital were testifying in front of the UK Parliamentary Treasury Committee. That was Daniel Trender, Vice President of Government Affairs of Europe at Binance, Susan Friedman, Policy Head at Ripple, and Tim Grant, Head of Europe at Galaxy Digital. Also present was Committee Chair Harriet Baldwin. So Baldwin asked the group if what happened with FTX shook their confidence in the space. Tim Grant said, quote, "I think it would be very wrong to tar the entire industry by this one bad apple," which happened to be a very big apple. Also present was Ian Taylor of Crypto UK. Crypto UK is a lobbying group. And so Taylor said the UK government should put their own version out of the EU's Markets in Crypto Assets legislation. He also said that crypto firms need to be audited. Binance's Trender agreed on that point. Now, given the special nature of the events around FTX's implosion, it only made sense for the committee to question Trender a bit on that topic. They asked if Binance knew what would happen if they knew that dumping FTT and appearing to bail the company out and then backing out, did they know that would have the effect of nuking the exchange? Trender says no. He not only denied that that was the plan, he offered to send the committee documents that show that Binance's actions were not born of a desire to destroy FTX. In the end, no matter whose fault it is, regulators for failing to regulate, legislators for failing to give regulators the tools and the authorities they need, users for continuing to put their trust and, more importantly, their money into exchanges when it's been shown time and time again just how vulnerable central exchanges are. But no matter whose fault it is, consequences are still happening. Visa is dragged into the mess now. On Sunday, Visa announced that they were cutting ties with FTX. This is after a much ballyhooed collaboration between Visa and FTX. And now, this means that those FTX-branded Visa cards will be sunsetted pretty quickly. A spokesperson from Visa told Reuters, quote, "The situation with FTX is unfortunate, and we are monitoring developments closely. We have terminated our global agreements with FTX, and their U.S. debit card program is being wound down by their issuer." Another consequence could be seen as a positive one, though, here, depending on how much they live up to their name. But Trust Wallet's fortunes are looking up. Trust Wallet has a token, TWT, and for Trust Wallet token. Now, this token works a lot like these other institution tokens. Token holders in this case get discounts on in-app purchases, and they get voting rights. Well, TWT is boasting 47% gains in the last 24 hours. This is according to data out of CoinGecko. Right now, it's setting at $2.28 a piece. It had gotten as high as $2.40, which tops the previous all-time high of $2.30 each. So, was this because CZ was shilling Trust Wallet in a recent tweet? He wouldn't be alone. Polygon's founder Sandeep Nailwal and Shapeshift's founder Eric Voorhees have also been pushing custody of your own crypto in the last few days. Is it because people are finally getting interested in self-custody now that FTX has imploded? Possibly. CoinGlass tells us that Bitcoin's balance on centralized exchanges have dropped 10% in the week between November 7th and today. And I think we're going to leave it there for tonight. It's a little shorter than I usually like to give you, but events conspired today. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.